Hello, my name's Joe. Office window. Can't see out it because I can't move my computer screen. Can't move my computer screen because of my fat bummed cat who's taken up residence on the windowsill. Anyway, watched the third episode of the new Top Gear last night, and what can I say? I like the old Top Gear. I watched the old Top Gear. But it's only watching the new Top Gear with Chris Evans and Matt LeBlanc and all the rest of them that you realise how tired and jaded the old format had got. I'm sorry, but it did. And it took a revamp of it to realise that three bad-tempered middle-aged men following a very predictable script where you knew they'd buy presents, they'd leave people behind, there would be, and you begin to wonder if they're not staged mishaps, some of them at least, stupidity, things like that. It just got a bit tired, really, and things like the India special, bit near the knuckle, and you just think, But you don't say anything because there's a lot about the show you did like, and it's only now I realise it had gotten tired, it had gotten jaded, it had gotten predictable. Do I like the new series? Yes, I do. I like having two superstars in a rally car. I love Sabine Schmidt. I love the fact she keeps making men throw up when she drives. Eddie Jordan, weird Uncle Eddie. Every family needs one. Matt LeBlanc and Chris Evans. And by the way, Chris Evans is not trying to be Jeremy Clarkson. Why would Chris Evans want to even attempt to be Jeremy Clarkson when he is Chris Evans, an already recognisable personality? Was he nervous? Yes. Had he had too much sugar? Common problem with Chris Evans. So yeah, I'm quite liking the new Top Gear. Which then got me thinking about the BBC as a whole and all these proposed changes for the better. No, they're not. And I'll tell you why I think you need to leave the BBC alone. And it's not the big programs like Top Gear. It's the little programs. It's the niche programming. It's the weird and the wonderful that just makes the BBC just reflect Britain itself. And I've written some notes down because there's things I want to say that I want to make sure. And it's things like comedy, okay? And it's not just the long-running programs like Have I Got News For You or Mock the Week, the news programs. It's things like Russell Howard's Good News. Russell Howard makes me laugh, but he's a very positive person. And nowhere else with the BBC would he have gotten a programme. The recent celebrations of Shakespeare, which on the BBC included The Hollow Crown, fantastic productions of Shakespearean plays, the abridged versions, but it just the most brilliant productions. You know, and just if you're a Shakespeare fan, or just if you want to celebrate Shakespeare, they were fantastic. But then you had Russell T Davies's Midsummer Night's Dream. Russell, you're wonderful, but you're not Shakespeare. Don't mess with it like that. Yes, it was good, but you're not Shakespeare. And by the way, we get it. Gay is good. You just gotta accept that you don't need to force it all the time, because especially when you're messing with Shakespeare, it is forced. But then there's also Upstart Crow, a little comedy going out late at night with David Mitchell as the most pretentious Shakespeare, and it's so funny. Paula Wilcox, Lisa Tarbuck, Harry Enfield, the wonderful Mark Heap, the man who's cornered the market and slimy and slightly weird. Brilliant. Then there's things like we can forgive the BBC Country File because it gives us This Farming Life. Then there's the female historians: Helen Castor, Janine Ramirez, Lucy Worsley, Mary Beard, Bethany Hughes, Joanne Fletcher. Where else are you going to see that many brilliant female historians representing civilization from Egypt right through to the modern day? And then there's the little regional TV programs and regional TV, BBC Radio, national and local. But where else but BBC Radio 2 would the Togmeister, Sir Terry Wogan, have reigned for so long? The outside broadcasts, everything from the Lord Mayor's Parade to proms in the park, all this stuff that the BBC does so well. So basically, I'm just trying to give you an idea. Oh, one of my favourite little programs, well, half-hour programs, Michael Portillo and his Bradshaw's Guide. It started out with a one-off about Spanish railways, turned into a guide of Great British Railway journeys, and he's gone all around the world. And it's just brilliant, but it took the BBC to do it. And finally, if for no other reason, we can forgive the BBC Chris Packham because it gave us Sir David Attenborough. So leave the BBC alone. The BBC is brilliant. The BBC is fantastic. The BBC is revered around the world. Leave it alone, so it can go on to produce and present these kind of shows and these kind of people. Now I'm going to go shove the cat off the windowsill, just to annoy him.